So now the first step to changing out the blade of the bandsaw is to first take out the red covers. So those red covers are held on by some black thumb screws and just a regular hex bolt. I think it's 1/2 inch, don't quote me. But for the thumb screws, they're very tight, so I like to use pliers to hold on to it. So make sure you don't squeeze it too hard, but hard enough so it doesn't slip, and take it out, easy peasy. And they're not screwed in all the way, so if you look at the bottom one here, I already loosened them, but it just slides off, you see? They're just little slides, so you don't have to take them fully out, just make sure you're able to slide it out like that. Once you take off both red guards, now you can open up the machine and look at how it works a bit. So the blade is just one big ribbon that runs around on those two wheels and runs in circles on and on again. So next step will be to loosen the tension in the blade so that you can take it off of the wheels, and then from there we'll be able to take it off pretty soon. Alright, so here at the end of the bandsaw we have a handle, and this handle serves the purpose of tightening or loosening the blade. So to loosen the blade, it is counterclockwise, and to tighten it is clockwise, but in our kit purposes we want to just loosen it as much as we can to release the tension so that we can successfully take the blade off of the wheels. And now it's very loose. You can see it's splitting apart. That means you're good to go. For this next step, it's a good idea to wear some gloves. I got them from a maintenance cart. So if you've done the first step properly, then you should be able to push the wheel in just like that, and now the blade should just slip right out. And do this on the other wheel, and then we have one last step to take the blade out. Here we need to make sure that we don't twist the blade the wrong way. So for it to get out, you have to push it down, but also bend it away from you, so counterclockwise from your wrist, so that you can just push down the blade like this. And if you have the right angle, it should be easy. There you go. That's it. Now the blade is out. Now for throwing away the blade, if it's no good anymore, and you can see that some blades are chipped off and doesn't look pretty, well, you'll be throwing in the garbage bin, the metal garbage bin. But to do that, you'll have to first coil it up. So now I have a big hoop. So what you'll do, you'll put your foot at the bottom of the hoop and you'll just give it a twist. And this should come together easily. You shouldn't fight the blade. So, like so. There you go. Now you got yourself a nice little bundle. And then grab yourself some MIG wire. I just got it from an old spool that was gone, not good no more. And just wrap it and twist it, just to make sure it doesn't explode in someone's face later on. And that's it. There you go. So this one's no good, so you're going to throw it out. If it's still good, put it back in MTC storage. Now you'll find new blades with a cover on them in MTC storage, and they come with zip ties on them, so just cut them off like so. And once you do that, then you can unwrap it. Just be careful, it might sling out, so just be aware of it. And yeah, we'll install it onto the bandsaw. Now the installation process of the blade will go in 3 steps, or 4 if you count this one. So first, take off the plastic cover. It should come off pretty easily. And at this point, be careful because the blade will be sharp and you don't want to damage it, dropping onto stuff and banging stuff around like I am. Once you get it in, first step will just be to put it into the slot here. We're not going to put it onto the wheels yet because that will make the whole process harder. So we'll do it one step at a time here. So once you get it into the slot at the top, make sure it's nicely in. Then we'll go down here to where you're going to be putting your pieces to cut. There are 2 dies with some bearings, some roller bearings. That just serves the purpose to hold the blade in place as you're cutting. So it's very tricky here because if you don't do it properly, you could potentially damage the machine. So the first step will be to twist it like we did before, away from you, up so you have it vertical. And once you have it vertical, you'll have to fight with it a little bit just to get it in. There you go. Once you get it into place, then shimmy it up and in the crack. There you go. That's it. So now that's in place, and for the next step, you'll need someone else to help you. All right, for this step here, I'll have Alex to help me out. So first step, we'll seat it onto the wheel just to get into position. In this step, we'll be seating the blade onto the wheel of the bandsaw. So Ethan and I are going to do it together. It's easier two at a time. So Ethan's going to do his side first. So there's a lip on the wheel, and you want the blade to be behind the lip. So at the bottom there we go. And then once he's in, then it'll be easier for me to get it also. And then I'll start putting a little bit of tension to help us out. And before I put too much tension, we want to make sure that it's really seated on properly to the lip of the wheel. So I want to pull the blade back. So in my case, I need to have my other hand free, so I'll hold it in the middle, seat it back, and Ethan's also holding it. And as we do that, we're going to tighten it with the hand on the side. And now it's well seated on there, so we'll move on to the next step to tighten it to the proper tension. And now we're going to tension the blade to spec. So for this blade, you'll want to tension it to 2,750 psi. So in the black markings, just keep turning the handle clockwise until you get there. And that's it. Now last step is to reinstall all the guards. So you can close up the hoods. You don't need access to them anymore. And now you can just install the red guards. So the top one, you'll want to slide underneath. I loosen the thumb screw and the bolt almost all the way, just to allow me to move into place properly. And the top one is not as critical to get super tight, but you still want to get it pretty darn tight. You'll want to use a wrench for this right screw here. Won't do it for the sake of the video, but now the bottom one has to be really tight, because if it's not tight, then the blade will rub onto the cover and it'll damage the blade and the cover over time. So this one, I'll just tighten by hand at first, make sure that it's set up properly, it's solid. Get as tight as I can by hand. And then I'll grab some pliers, some linesman pliers I think, and just tighten them the rest of the way like that. And for this step, make sure you don't over squeeze them, but hard enough so you don't strip them, so like that. And that's pretty darn tight. So yeah, just do that for both. And you're good to go on that front, and then make sure you take off your safety for the plug, and you're all set.